Yeah, turning down the experience of life for the sake of maintaining your like complete adherence to the thing that you're doing.
No, because let's be real, a lot of the time the quality of these things is trash.
What you actually enjoy and how you benefit from different things is really important to reflect on.
Am I the project, or is this area, this little tiny area in my life needing a little bit more tending? Welcome back to another episode of Sessions for the Soul.
Yes, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. Just coming off the heels of 4th of July, busyness. Where we live gets so it's a hot spot. It's a hot spot for celebrating, if you will.
Place to be.
It really is
if
the
you
place.
Enjoy fireworks.
Yes. If you don't come. It's not the place to be. Yeah. So, I think that even when you don't really do much, there's the collective energy is there's a lot. And so decompressing from that,
Yeah. No, I totally get it. It was fun to spend time with family. I also love seeing just driving around to and from different things that were going on, seeing families outside playing cornhole and playing just little games,
Yeah.
just spending time together. So that was fun. I feel like it feels like the start of summer, seeing all the people outside doing fun things.
I love that. That's so sweet. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Also just recovering.
Yeah.
Didn't get a lot of sleep. Fireworks everywhere till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Guys, come on.
Please.
Please stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it just always takes a while to kind of recover from bad nights of sleep. So
yeah, for sure. There's it's if you need a vacation from the holiday weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah.
Well, fun. I hope all our listeners had a good, good weekend, good holiday. Yeah. However you decided to spend it.
Yes. And check out our last 2 episodes if you haven't.
Yeah.
Because they're related to just something we kind of, in a way kind of related to just the 4th of July in a way, but also just the state of the world and whatever. So
we did a little State of the Union.
We addressed the union. Is that it is? What is that?
No idea.
I don't know anything. They happen. We were the presidents. No, I'm just kidding. I would never want that job. You couldn't pay me.
Oh my goodness. No, add it to the list of jobs that I would never participate in. Interested in.
Absolutely. Add that to the top. Yeah. Well, today, you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about self-improvement culture. And the question we kind of have is has self-improvement become avoidance? And we're going to kind of dive into this, the pendulum just keeps swinging and we're a part of it. And culture, it's interesting to, let's say 20 years ago, I guess, not so much maybe, but 30 years ago, even maybe 20 years ago, it was not super. Self-improvement has evolved a lot, let's say that. And then with social media and the way that it has continued to develop, has the pendulum swung too far. And now we're kind of in this place where maybe it's we need to find balance.
Yeah.
Many things right now. Okay.
Yeah. I do feel just in general, and I think this relates to self-improvement too, things generally have this arc and I think we're kind of reaching the peak of this arc, and we're maybe starting to come back down to earth a little bit, where it's let's actually just be human and simplify a little bit and do things that actually feel good and that benefit you in some way, but also let's stop being so obsessive around these things.
Yeah.
Our first little note here is just this thought of are we sacrificing our lives at the altar of an Andrew Huberman protocol, and fill in the blank with a person who's a prominent protocol optimization, life hack type person. But when you become so obsessed with listening to certain people, maybe through podcasts, social media clips, books, whatever the medium is that you're getting this information from, are you actually benefiting from this, or are you kind of sacrificing your life, the human element of living, for the sake of subscribing to and adhering to this very prescriptive approach to life? Like it just doesn't feel human to have
Yeah,
like protocol after protocol after protocol, and that just becomes your whole life.
absolutely. Right. Like, and when we're so focused on like optimizing everything and like the productivity and like like the result, like being the highest, best, like most like aligned, like expression of ourselves. Um, but like without all of the like actual human experience and like nourishing things that like
Mm-hmm.
are essential, right, to like our being. And we're like just so focused on like the textbook or like the scientific like information. What what's the cost of that, or like what happens, what's the result? And I think it's just an interesting conversation for us to kind of be diving into right now in a world where like yeah, it's there's a lot of noise kind of contributing to like
Mm-hmm.
maybe the pressure people feel to like do that. And
Yeah.
then when you are listening to someone so like word for word like following everything that they say,
Yeah.
what's actually happening for you in your life, in the moment to moment, like
Mm-hmm.
what's the voice in your head saying? This kind of reminds me a little bit of like, this is so not related in the sense of like self-improvement, but maybe it is. A few years ago, like 6 years ago now, I like stopped. I was following this one person for a while, listening to, she would do like tarot readings for like each sign. It was like very astrological stuff, like very, very in the very woo, if you will, which I love like that kind of stuff. But I actually like got to a point where I was like, I actually need to stop doing this because I was like not able to be present and like respond in my life. I was like constantly like, oh my God, my horoscope and like this and that. And
Yeah.
I was like so fixated on what this person was telling me. And then I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? And I just had to like step away completely because it was literally like messing with my relationships. Like I just was so like thinking about it all the time. And every time I had a
Yeah.
decision to make or something was happening, I was like, wait, what's my horoscope right now? Like what's my reading
Mm-hmm.
for today?
Mm-hmm.
And it just took me out of like being present.
Yeah, and it's almost, and I think we kind of talked about this like a couple episodes ago, maybe, where we start to kind of like idolize certain people, and that's totally relevant in like this context of like self improvement, where it's like, but this person told me that this is the protocol I should be doing, or
Yeah.
this is how I should be sleeping, or how I should get sun exposure, or exercising, or eating, or like whatever the thing is. And then you let that kind of like consume your entire life because you're taking it as gospel and like this is what I need to do and strictly adhere to it. And it just becomes really problematic, like you mentioned, like it just feels all consuming.
Yeah.
And especially if you're someone who has a tendency to kind of become obsessive with certain things or like ruminate on certain things, I think there's maybe even a greater likelihood of like falling into these um, traps, I guess, with like
Yeah.
letting self improvement like take over your whole being. And
Yeah.
especially in a time where like everything is becoming a protocol or a hack or um, longevity is a big thing like right now. And it's hard to escape it or avoid it in a lot of ways if you're pretty plugged into the online space, including podcasts. Like if you're
Yeah.
listening religiously to podcasts or certain podcasts, a lot of them take that approach of like how to optimize everything.
Totally. Yeah. It's like optimization culture, like, is like it's almost like the new, it's like a fad diet, but it's like for your whole life,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it's not like, oh, I'm just like evaluating my eating. It's like my sleeping, my eating, what I'm consuming, what time I'm going to bed, what time I'm waking up, the supplements that like, it can become like a full-time job to
The
like
lab
meet.
work
Oh
and
yeah.
like deeply analyzing every little thing. And now that my lab work looks like this, I need to take these supplements for this amount of time and get retested. And like,
No,
it
totally. It
just,
like literally becomes like a a fixation, like
yeah.
totally. I totally agree. It's very interesting. Yeah, when I think it's interesting to like analyze. One of our notes we have is like trying to optimize every inch of your life, and
Mhm.
what that actually, what does that even mean?
Mhm.
I don't even, I actually don't know. Yeah. I mean, I know I obviously have an idea, but like, what are we? what is our goal? What is the end result we desire is my curiosity in some of these,
Yeah.
like with these like life hacks and these like optimization and these like routines. What's the goal?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And again, it's almost like this sense of balance, or trying to find this sense of balance, but optimizing every inch of your life just feels so out of balance, where it's like from the moment that you wake up, you're trying to have like the perfect habit stack, and like the perfect supplement stack, and like all the different things that just become so consuming. And it's like, I can't take this one until X amount of hours after I wake up, because that's going to be the most like optimized way for my body to absorb this thing. And I need to make sure that I'm getting this amount of sleep and sun exposure at this time of day. And it's like your whole life is like worked around the optimization of how you're engaging
Mm,
with life, which actually feels like a lack of engagement with life in
yeah,
like in a real
totally.
way. So yeah, it is an interesting thing to think about, just how all consuming it is. And then even when we're sleeping, tracking your sleep score, it's like you can't even escape from it at night when you're sleeping. And
Yeah.
that's not to say that it might not be beneficial for some people sometimes to like check in and see, how things are if they have a concern around their sleep, to like get some insights there. But to constantly be tracking through things like wearables, like at night or during the day, and always having access to your metrics, like we're being reduced to metrics, and that's really
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I feel like this is one of those things, like the intention started out like really pure, and like we've kind of gotten lost on on the way, in the
Yeah.
sense that like, you know, a lot of people do, right? Like if you're struggling, like the sleep thing made me think of this. Like if you have sleep apnea, or if you're like
Yeah.
struggling with something and you're trying to get answers or understand like how you can improve that area of your life because it's like affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
tired, you're, whatever, gaining weight, you're
Yeah.
having health issues, because sleep is like a really important piece, right?
Yeah.
So I totally get, like there's a time and a place for all of these things
Yeah.
depending on what each of us individually is experiencing, or like what health or wellness struggles we're having. But where is it, like it's an interesting question to ask, or just like a contemplation to consider, when it's like, where is the line at, like, okay, this actually isn't even an issue for me, but I'm doing it because like this is how
Mm-hmm.
this is what I was told to do to optimize this, or like this will improve it, even if my sleep's great. Like I've actually, and I'm not saying mine literally, I'm saying like,
Mm-hmm.
say you're a person who's like consuming this content saying that like this is how you need to do bedtime and sleep in
Mm-hmm.
order to like optimize your life.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe beforehand, before you started doing this, everything was actually fine and it was working for you. Like it's kind of like fixing something that's not broken sometimes.
Yes, yeah, because someone told you to. Someone who appears to be like powerful or influential is like, this is what you need to do to optimize or to extend your life, or whatever the like selling point is.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like some of it is like, or a lot of it maybe is kind of fear based,
Oh yeah.
whether it be through the lens of like longevity, of trying to extend your life and, add however many years, or if you don't do this, you're going to be more susceptible to this disease, or like whatever the thing is. I feel like there's so much um, like a very fear based motive behind a lot of this, which
Yeah.
feels not so great.
No, totally. Like, as you and I were talking about this before we started this, and it's like, before we started filming, and it's like that thing of like, a lot of this stuff feels like an attempt at like trying to control the uncontrollable,
Mhm.
right? And so it's like, I totally understand where this comes from, especially, as humans, like it's totally normal to desire control and to like
Yeah.
to want these things for sure. Especially in a world where like so much is out of our control, like
Yeah.
on a grand scheme. But at the same time, it's like, when does this, like, does this even feel like, the next thing we have on here is like,
Hmm.
has any, like, are we pausing to reflect on if it even feels good?
Hmm.
Does this even feel good? Is this something that's actually like, what's the payoff of
Hmm.
this? And On one hand where like I can totally, yeah, like when I get this much sleep, I feel better. And when I eat this way, I feel better. And that's all fine. And that's great.
Right.
And also, am I allowing like the spontaneity of life and like
Right.
joy and experiences and like, staying up late chatting with friends or
Right.
having the piece of birthday cake or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, am I allowing that,
Mm-hmm.
the very human experience of
Mm-hmm.
shared moments into my life
Yeah.
still?
No, absolutely. And I think just on the note of like pausing to reflect, does this even feel good for me? That in and of itself can be so powerful for someone who maybe if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I found myself like so like in this spiral of just trying to optimize everything in my life. Um, I think it's worth pausing and just noticing like, wait, does this drink that I'm drinking every day actually make me feel better? Does it actually do what it says it's going to do and what it's selling to me?
Yeah.
Does this supplement actually make a difference for my life? Or is it just like an expensive thing that I'm taking that actually isn't doing anything for me? Like,
Yeah.
does it actually feel good when I get a full 8 hours of sleep? Or am I someone who needs maybe 6 or 7 hours of sleep? And that's when I feel best. Like
Right.
all these different areas of life really like reclaiming your agency in some ways instead of outsourcing that to other people and being like, well, they told me to do this, or they said that this is how their body functions best, or their family system functions best. And these systems, and that might not be for you. Like, I think the element of like bio individuality is really important. The element of like what you actually enjoy and how you benefit from different things
Yeah.
is really important to reflect on. Otherwise, it's almost just like blindly following what other people are saying. And
Yeah.
it, like, you're not actually pausing to listen to your own body and your own needs.
No, totally. Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of like all these other like, like there's not a lot of pausing and thinking like sometimes when it comes to trends. And
Mm-hmm.
now trends have like evolved past like pop culture, like fashion or um even like what is being like what's popular, right? And now it's evolved to like health, wellness, like our how we're taking care of our bodies, how we're eating, how we're it's like evolved into all these other spaces. And it's exactly that, like there's sometimes I think it's unconscious, like the jumping on the like, oh, this is what like remember I don't know if your mom ever did this, but like I mean, it must have been before like 2010 or 11. The cabbage soup diet. Do you remember the cabbage soup
I
diet?
don't think so.
Okay, well, ridiculous. My house smelled like cabbage for like so long because my
Was it just
mom
cabbage?
cabbage soup, babe,
Oh
for
my
like 3
gosh.
weeks and it's like a vegetable puree.
Oh my gosh.
And then yeah, people are losing weight because they're
Because you're
fucking
not
just
fucking
eating
eating.
anything. You're drinking vegetable fiber. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And it just reminds me of that because I remember like it being everywhere, being like on the
Yeah.
TV, it being like in magazines, and like everyone was like, there were a lot of women at the time who were like, let's try this.
Right.
Um, and it reminds me of that in the sense that like I don't know that a lot of people in that moment were like thinking like, first of all, but do I actually like, am I enjoying this? Like, is this at all, is this a diet or like, is this sustainable? Is this something that feels good? Is going to be like
Right.
long term? It
Yeah.
was like, nope, this is what everybody's doing and they're losing weight. Let's do it.
Yes.
It wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of tuning in and checking in. And I think that's the case with like a lot of these types of things. It's, the influencer is selling you the like gummy vitamin or supplement,
Yeah.
and we're not like checking in and
That, by the
like
way, they probably don't even take. They're just getting paid to sell it to you. Like, yeah.
100%. 100%, they're not taking that.
Yeah.
No, because like let's be real, a lot of the time the quality of these things is trash.
Yes.
It's not good.
Really
Like
bad. Yeah.
doing the research is so important. I'm not going to say names because it's like one of the more, I mean, I don't actually think it matters, but there's a certain influencer family who is like at the epicenter of culture and has been for like over a decade. And one of the sisters has like a supplement brand. And it's like
Mm.
these supplements are hilarious and they have funny names and it's super cute marketing and packaging and little purple bottles and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And their campaigns are great. But like,
Mm-hmm.
what is in this stuff? And my mom was taking one of them a while ago, and I was like, what the fuck is in these? And I looked it up. There is nothing. It's literally a sugar gummy with like
Mm-hmm.
nothing of benefit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly
Yeah.
a giant waste of money.
Yeah.
And then when people are taking them for months and they're like, wow, I'm not getting results.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
never going to.
Yeah. Or you don't even pause to think like, am I getting results?
Right.
Like, yeah. And I think the industry in some ways, because this is an industry, even if it's just individual people like through podcasts, influencers, things like that, who are contributing to the industry and
Yeah.
maybe they don't even realize it, but it would not be in their favor for people to pause and reflect. It's not in their benefit in any way for people to encourage people to like listen to their intuition and to reclaim their agency and to really think like, how is this actually making me feel? Am I getting the results that I was promised? Am I getting the results that I actually desire?
Yeah.
Do I even desire these results?
Like, why am I doing this?
Any sort of reflection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they encourage it? That just, loses them business or listeners or likes or like whatever the thing is that they're chasing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's really, really super damaging. The whole industry.
Yes. And then it becomes like this slippery slope, right? Because from there, it's like, okay, you kind of become obsessed. Like people can, and people can become obsessed. Let me like reword that. You can become obsessed when you're fixating so intensely on something.
Yeah.
And then, I think kind of what can happen is the stress of that is doing more harm than good in many cases. And when you do decide, or like you have the day where it's like, I'm having the piece of birthday cake or I'm staying out late with friends, does that start a cycle of self like hatred or like being critical of yourself and tearing yourself down? Is that now an excuse to like spiral and then be like, I'm bad, I failed, I'm bad at this, and then you have to like recommit in a deeper way almost
A more
because
extreme way.
yeah, because you feel like you've messed it up or whatever. And I think that that's like such an interesting part of this because it becomes another point of like obsession and like fixation.
Mm-hmm. No, it really does. The other day, and I feel like this kind of ties in, I was reminded of when I was maybe 19 years old and Adam and I first moved in together. It must have been like something that I was reading or seeing online or something where like dairy was like so harmful for you and could give you different diseases or like it just was this horrible thing. And for a while, I had so much anxiety because I bought into this like thing that I was seeing, had so much anxiety around dairy, didn't eat it. And then anytime I would see Adam consuming dairy, which like I didn't want him to, like it just threw me into like the spiral of like, oh my gosh, you're like setting yourself up to get sick or like this is harming your health in some way. Like just this insane obsession with this specific topic of dairy. And then noticing that like in smaller ways throughout my life too, of like other trends that will happen or like things that you're supposed to do or things that you're supposed to avoid. And it's like, this isn't worth it. It's not worth it to like buy into whatever the thing is that someone's trying to sell you, even if it's an idea, at the expense of my own life and like connection and relationships and just being able to like enjoy life and the stress, like the element of the stress and obsession and rumination and fear. Like research also supports that. Like that's not good for you either to like be so stressed about the ingredients or the way that you're working out or the way that you're sleeping or like all the different things, like the stress load that you're taking on because of the obsession over doing it perfectly and optimizing everything is probably more harmful than if you were to just like let go of some of the protocols and let go of some of the things that you're doing so that you can actually like have some more breathing room in life.
Yeah, for sure. I think like exactly. I relate so much to what you just shared because growing up like with food, like growing up with health issues and then like them turning into like, oh, you have food allergies and a genetic mutation and all this stuff. I go through phases with it for sure. But like it wholeheartedly has made me, I actually was having this conversation with my sister not very long ago about like I feel like in so many ways that has contributed to my disordered eating because I'm so afraid of that space. I'm so afraid of feeling that way, right?
Yeah.
So, and I go through phases with it, like truly, because there are times in life where I'm so exhausted and I'm like, I cannot keep up with this because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah.
Like I've kind of been in that phase recently,
Mhm.
because there's just a lot going on. And so like I have not been eating in a way that like supports my actual like
Mm.
body.
Mhm.
Um, and not, and then this is funny because it's like, oh, this is actually like real life what this is, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing that from a place of optimization. I'm doing that from a place of like, no, I know how bad my stomach can hurt. And I really work very hard to not be in that place.
Mm.
And like a week ago, probably, I had one of those days where like all of the sudden my stomach hurt so bad. And I was literally in the bathroom for like
Mhm.
a half hour. My nephew like came in and like stared at me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I don't know, like in so
Mhm.
much pain. And it was one of those moments where I was like, "Oh, okay, this is why I actually this is my why because
Mhm.
this if this becomes like a constant, I
Mhm.
hate it." But also like the balance of like, yeah, but I'm also human and I like enjoyed
Right.
my life and
Right. Yeah.
I went and like I had the milkshake and I
Right.
did the whatever with my family.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing of like finding that space where it's like, am I am I doing this because it's truly like makes me feel better or am I doing this um because of fear, because of control, because of, all of this stuff. And like, where is the balance in it? And like,
Mhm.
where do I, you know, find that space that's like, this is contributing to something that's more harmful or
Right.
like, okay, like there was a point a couple years ago where like I was so fixated on it because I was like having all of this stuff happen. And,
Yeah.
um, it got so like I wouldn't eat. Like we would be
Yeah.
on vacation as a family and I literally would not eat for days.
Yeah.
And then I was like a fucking psychopath and everybody was
Because no
like,
one can function without food.
"No, literally." And like
Yeah.
we'd be in Disneyland and I'd be
Mhm.
like on the inside like
Yeah.
so unwell and
Yeah.
everyone would like, my parents were like, "You have to eat something." And I'd be like, "But I'm so scared."
Yeah.
And so now I'm way more balanced in my life where it's like, okay, like we're on vacation. I'm going to eat, I'm going to make mostly good choices
Right.
that I know are not going to cause harm. And then if I do eat something, like I might have a day or two where like,
Mhm.
this happens or whatever. And
Mhm.
found that balance.
Yeah.
But just to speak to like this thing where, for our listeners, if anybody's like, but like I do have food allergies or I do have this thing,
Mhm.
that we totally understand that. And it's like, how do we find the balance and make it work in that to where your joy isn't being stolen from everywhere and you're not stressed out and you're, like finding the moment where I heard someone once say, my health wasn't built in a day and it's not going to be broken in a day.
Mm.
I think that's really
Mhm.
beautiful.
No, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think, first of all, thank you for sharing that. That's so vulnerable and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think it's relatable for a lot of people. And especially the concept of like we reach for these things to try and like have a sense of control, whether it be through like food, exercise, sleep schedules, supplement routines, like whatever the thing is that you're doing.
Yeah.
We oftentimes like really try and like tighten our grip on the control of those things or like double down on what we're doing when we start to feel like other areas of our life are out of control in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And that could include health issues, right? So like you said, like if people are listening and they're like, but I actually have like health issues, I have an autoimmune issue, I have cancer, I have whatever,
Right.
like, or I'm trying to prevent something that I know I'm, more susceptible to. Totally understandable. And so being able to like find that balance of like how can you support yourself and like nurture your overall well-being in a way that isn't going to like steal the joy out of life and the ability to just like connect with people, to feel good, and having that balance, of like every once in a while I am gonna like indulge in this way or like maybe stay up a little later than usual, get crazy, like
Yeah.
just being able to live life and recognizing that maybe there are going to be times where you are, feeling an urge to kind of like double down on some of those things and just like getting curious about it. Like, what is this trying to communicate to me about other areas of my life that maybe need like some tending to, so that I can tend to those things and feel like a greater sense of balance and ease and joy and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Yes, absolutely. I think it's exactly that. And our next note on the list is like, are you using this in a way to just avoid living a real human life that is
Mm-hmm.
messy, has variables, isn't always like easy to anticipate or planned?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is such an important question
Mm-hmm.
to be bringing into this conversation, because if we are like so fixated on like the optimization and the results that we're like getting all the time, to where like we're not living in the moment and making memories, or like also, you know, we're avoiding certain things that like maybe would be experiences with the people we love that are like kind of part of, they're like kind of the best part about being human, right? Like if you think about like the experiences, like the late night chats in your living room with your like the company you have down, or the going on a trip with friends or family, or even like going for an experience with people you love. Are you like shutting off that completely? Are you closing the doors on that because it's like you're so like married to your routine?
Mm-hmm.
And like, what's the cost of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, turning down the experience of life for the sake of like um just like maintaining your like complete adherence to the thing that you're doing. Like it becomes really isolating, I think, and it starts to separate you or disconnect you from the relationships that you have, and through like the opportunities that you could say yes to, and the experiences that you can have and the memories you can make. But you're like, I'm going to pass because they're not going to have, these structures in place so that I can like keep my neat little protocols or habits or whatever it is that you're doing like in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like, we were talking about this too before we started. I went to a concert with my
Yeah.
sister and my two nephews and my niece on Wednesday night. And like, ideally, would my sister and I both like to be in bed by 10 p.m.? Heck yeah, we would. Hello, we're in our 30s.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we would.
Yeah.
But like, no, we went and we had this experience, and the kids like they were so excited. Like,
Yeah.
my oldest nephew is like a rock star in the making. He just like wants to play guitar and like all of those things. And so like for him, going to those is like so exciting and fulfilling in a way that like I don't even know that any of us can like really relate to.
Right. Yeah.
He loves it, and he loves like learning and being there, and then like going and learning songs on his guitars and all of that. And then my niece is like just like loving like the music and the experience and dancing and like being a young girl. Like
so fun.
it, oh my gosh, there are two baby deer crossing the road right now. You guys, brief interruption.
Gosh, they better move.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, you cannot be doing this on the
Oh
101.
my gosh.
Okay.
They made it.
They made it.
Sweet. That was worth it.
You guys, that was spontaneity. We're not optimizing this.
No, we are not.
No. Wow, so cute. Oh. But anyway, back to your scheduled programming. We got home super late, went to bed, in the middle of the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course we were tired.
Yeah.
But like, I would say yes to that experience 1,000 times over again, to like have experience that my youngest nephew Maverick, like he used to fall asleep to Machine Gun Kelly when he was a baby, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And he loves his like pop punk like rock albums and like that stuff. And so for them it was like, it was a core memory that being made.
Yes.
And they'll remember it forever.
Yeah.
And
no, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Those experiences are so worth it, even though you're like, oh my, I know it. Like I'm signing up to be so exhausted tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. We're going camping in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And no one sleeps well when you're camping. You get like the worst sleep of your life. but it's still going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's still going to be fun to hang out with family and to do like just all the fun camping things and to all collectively wake up in the morning feeling exhausted and to
Yes.
have bad coffee. Like it's just part of the experience, you know?
Yeah.
And to say no to those things because you're worried about not getting good sleep, like at what cost, you know? And again, the balance is there of like maybe there are some things where it's like if you get like consecutive nights of really bad sleep, maybe you have some sort of a health issue come up and you want to avoid that. Understandable. But if it's because you're just trying to like optimize your whole life, like I don't know. I think that that calls for some reflection.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like as you were talking about camping, I'm thinking about how, like, yeah, all of that is true. Like, bad coffee, bad sleep. It's like not the best, like, bathroom situation usually, like the whole nine. And then, but like, where can you see stars like that? Where can you
Yes.
like hear all the sound? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like those little things that it's like, oh, a
Yeah.
deeper connection with each other and the world, like,
Yeah.
is, it's like, it's so worth it
It's so
always.
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's just so important to remember is like that is life. Like the collection of all these experiences and the memories that we make and the shared experience that we have with other people, like that is literally the whole point of life is to like have this experience together. And when we're so obsessed with trying to do everything right and perfect, and it starts to take away from like the actual real life experiences that we can be having, I think it's doing so much more damage than good. And that is like the eradication of spontaneity, if you will. Like it's literally removing that element of life of being able to be spontaneous and to say yes to things on a whim and to do things that you usually wouldn't do or that you know are going to like put you outside of your normal routine, knowing that maybe you're not going to feel the best afterwards, but it's going to
Totally.
be like the best time and that's
Totally.
worth it.
Yes. I'm thinking, as you're saying that, I'm just reminded of like so many experiences I've had in my life that would have never happened had I just like been like, but I'm so tired.
Mm-hmm.
And like hadn't had that like other voice come in and be like, yeah, but
Yeah.
this is it. Like,
Yeah.
go and do the thing. You can sleep tomorrow. Like,
Yes.
there will always be time to catch up on sleep.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, in this conversation, it can become really isolating. If you're always like, you know what, no, I'm going to go home and go to bed, like,
Mm-hmm.
you're really closing the door
Mm-hmm.
or on certain things, right? And it doesn't even have to be that. Maybe it's like, oh, I can't miss this workout, or I have to, do whatever this optimization thing is, right? And then like my dedication to it is like the most important. Then what am I closing myself off to? What doors am I like not even seeing that are like waiting for me to walk through because I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like so focused on what's like right, this
Mm-hmm.
pattern or this like routine.
Mm-hmm.
And how is that actually like serving me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this like speaks to other conversations we've had or like things
Yeah.
we, talk about when it's like the loneliness
Mm-hmm.
situation we have in the world, and these like more like modern problems where it's like people aren't spending as much time together, people are missing community,
Yeah.
people are, you know kind of feeling like unfulfilled and lonely in certain ways, and it's like, well, what are we focusing on instead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think another element to this that is harmful in its own way is like constantly treating yourself as a project, like something is wrong with you or needs to be fixed, or like you're just working toward this like never ending, like there's no finish line a lot of the times for these things. And that's like no way to live your life where you're just like constantly viewing yourself as someone who needs to be fixed and that constantly needs to be like worked on in some ways. And that's not to say again, like it's good to have goals. It's good to like want change in your life. It's good to like challenge yourself and to be disciplined and to have good habits and things like that. But when your view of self is through the lens of I'm broken and need to be fixed,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah. And like this whole thing, right? Like is kind of optimizing that, like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that people feel that way, or like
Mm-hmm.
it really, if you think about it, like whether it's the beauty industry
Yeah.
or this situation we're talking about here about like optimizing health and all these things, it actually is like preying on those very things, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
those
Yeah.
insecurities or those like beliefs we have that like,
Mm-hmm.
if I do all of this, then like I won't feel this way.
Yeah.
And there's another curiosity we can invite in there, like, but do I still feel that way even when I'm doing all of this? And if I do, then like
Right.
what's actually needing to be looked at and tended
Yes.
to?
Yes. There's like a deeper, like, let's pull back the layers and like, let's look at the deeper belief or concern or issue here that needs to be like tended to and nurtured. Um, because it's like a view of self, like a issue of like how you're actually viewing yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times like deep shame about like who you are. And that just makes me want to like give someone a hug, like,
Yeah.
because it's sad. Like that's a really, it feels really sad to feel that way inside. And I'm sure anyone listening, like I think that's kind of a human experience in some ways, to like go through at least a season where you can relate to that feeling of like not loving who you are necessarily and feeling like I just am this huge project that needs to be worked on, but to like live your whole life in that experience and in that belief just feels really sad and lonely and like just like a never ending experience, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You know, it's inviting, like, for whatever reason, what's coming right now to me is looking at, it's interesting, how we associate like some things in our lives with that, like we're the problem, instead of like looking at the environment or the like
Mhm.
certain things that are external and have nothing to do with us and our being and who we are inherently.
Yeah.
And that's another curiosity we can invite in, like, you know, am I the project, or is this area, this little tiny area in my life needing a little bit more like tending, or is
Right.
this thing misaligned and I need to like pivot?
Mhm.
But that's not me. That's separate from me,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And you know, having, it's interesting that we culturally don't really always have that awareness or mindfulness when we look at these things, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
Because totally same. Like, yeah, of course there are seasons where it's like, what the F is happening and
Mhm.
why is this like like we're still figuring it out,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's okay. Like
Yeah.
I think we kind of always are, right? In
Yes.
ways. And
Yeah.
so if we're always trying to like solve instead of
Mhm.
just like evolve,
Mhm. Yeah.
then it doesn't always feel the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be really heavy and damaging.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
that's so good. Solve rather than evolve.
Wow.
So good.
Okay, what? You guys.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess our final note is like just an encouragement to find balance. And I feel like we've touched on this a lot just throughout this episode and just kind of exploring this topic, but really just asking yourself like, what is actually feeling good to me? What is like the motivation or intention behind what I'm doing? Is it pulling away from like the actual experience of life and connection to self and others? Um, and how can I kind of nurture these parts of me that are asking for some attention, I think is
Yeah.
maybe a way to put it.
Yeah, and you know, live a little, I think, is like
Yeah.
another part of this, is like let yourself be free enough to like truly live more, and you know, connect with friends um and have experiences, because really, like in my mind, and like you said, Kayla, that's what this is all about,
Mm-hmm.
is the human experience and experiencing life and joy and laughter and you know, being with friends and community and the people we love. And so um and maybe, you know, we have other episodes if you're feeling that there's a lack of that in your life and how to nurture that and all of that. So if anybody listening is like, yeah, I crave that, but I don't know how to achieve it, or you know,
Yeah.
that's like something that's missing in my life, definitely go check out those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
um and you know, we don't have all the answers, but we have some advice on how to like
Yeah.
move through those seasons and how to
Yeah.
maybe invite more of that in. But yeah, I would just say, like, you know, be willing to say yes
Mm-hmm.
more, and also be willing to like just handle, like, you know what, I'm going to be tired and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's the whole point of life. So I hope that this conversation maybe just like sparked some curiosity around just why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
I think that's a good question to ask ourselves. So I think that covers it. So
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow all the things, shop our merch, and we will see you next week.